Good morning, YouTube. Hope everyone's having a wonderful day out there. Welcome to another episode of Live from Brian. I'm in my 1996 Nissan 300ZX and taking it for a quick Sunday morning wash. And was actually considering, or have been considering, the next purchase. I know it's a sickness. I'll probably sell or trade off, a car or two to make this happen as well. But I've been very interested in the Mercedes McLaren SLR for quite a long time. Price wise, they're up there, and I think they're kind of gradually, slowly continuing to appreciate, not to the degree of the Carrera GT or obviously the Enzo, which were its main rivals of its day, but price-wise, it's still somewhat attainable for me at this point, given my other priorities and my attempts to control my car addiction. I love the kind of over-the-top aspect of the car, which usually in cars I don't like. I was mentioning that in regards to my the 2002 Porsche that I got, the Turbo 996, and it has the factory installed aero kit on it, but it's not so over the top and crazy like the GT3 RS, or again, that's just completely track focused, and obviously it's a different niche. But usually, I don't really go for those cars that are kind of just, I can't think of a better word, a little bit kind of over the top in terms of just, either track or race performance, or just kind of even from a looks and aesthetics and functional standpoint, like no AC, or instead of having door handles, they have like little ropes that you pull down, or everything's stripped out of the car and there's no whatever, like weight saving and that sort of deal. But the SLR obviously is not a race car, but in terms of what I've heard, it has a pretty rough ride. The maintenance costs are just mind-boggling. They can be mind-boggling, and that's really kind of the main things that are kind of deterred me or scared me off. I heard something like the rear disc brakes are like $40,000, or the rotors are like are $40,000, something like that. I think I saw it on a YouTube episode, Ed Bolian's Paris Hilton SLR McLaren. But so yeah, I've been giving that some thought, but strangely enough, I'm not crazy in love with how the car looks. It's a catch-22 for me. I like cars, as you guys know, from following the channel, that I like cars that are unique, that are not ubiquitous, that, are a little bit kind of the road less traveled, if you will. For example, I'm sitting in my 300ZX, which is the naturally aspirated version and an automatic. So that's definitely the road less traveled for these cars. But sorry guys, just pulling up to the car wash right now. But you don't see obviously a lot of the SLR McLarens around. I've actually never seen one in person. It's not that they were super limited. I think Mercedes made them for 4 years, I believe. I could be mistaken. And then they had like some special editions. But so they're not everywhere on the road, but that could be price point, that could be people don't really want them or drive them much, and it could also be the maintenance, the running costs, which apparently can be quite aggressively exorbitant. So I'm on the fence between the SLR McLaren and perhaps the SLS AMG. The SLS AMG, again, I've never driven either, haven't been in either one, but just from reviews, videos I've watched, the SLS maybe feels a little bit less special, has a little bit less power than the SLR McLaren. Obviously, price-wise, it's a little bit more affordable, but again, you lose a little bit in terms of the elite, exceptional, the specialness that the SLR had. The SLS, again, it's the the successor to not just the SLR, but also the famous 300, the Gullwing, the SL, the Mercedes Halo car, I think what people universally herald as Mercedes' greatest creation of all time, which itself, of course, is a beautiful car. I think the SLS AMG is also a beautiful car. I love the Gullwing doors. From an aesthetic standpoint, I think it's less over the top than the SLR McLaren, which I actually like. I think I kind of prefer that, a little bit more understated. There's certain angles of the SLS AMG I'm not crazy about, like the rear three-quarter look kind of looks like a Viper, like a second generation Viper, I think. Or is it a first generation? I think maybe second generation. But yeah, I'm kind of on the fence about it, because every time I kind of lean towards going maybe perhaps for the SLS AMG, I kind of think to myself, well, I regret not getting the SLR McLaren because it's kind of like a step down, and I kind of settled for something less, which again sounds insane because the SLS AMG, AMG's first, the first car that AMG built from the ground up. They had become a part of Mercedes. It's obviously a beautiful car. It's a famous car. It was the Mercedes supercar of its time. And it's more affordable, and the running costs apparently are more viewable, practical. So just say that I would be settling for SLS AMG again is, I know, just patently absurd. But that's really kind of the two main things that are scaring me off of the SLR McLaren are the operating costs, the maintenance costs. And again, I have several exotics. I have a Ferrari, I have a Lamborghini, I have a McLaren. I have many cars actually which aren't exactly the most reliable in the tool shed, so unfortunately I'm a little bit kind of well versed in spending a bit of a penny for maintenance and running costs. But so obviously I would kind of mentally prepare and budget for that with the SLS. So sorry guys, going through the wash right now, so it might be a little bit loud, but so I definitely will have to plan for, putting aside funds to repair or maintain the SLR McLaren if I do go that route. My concern is, like my McLaren 12C, I think if that car sits too long, either both with regards to my actually, you know what? I'm gonna do this after I go through the wash. 1 second, guys. So sorry guys, just finished going through the wash there. So as I was saying, my concern with the SLR McLaren, if it's anything like my 12C, if it sits for any sort of prolonged period of time, gremlins and warning lights tend to pop up. And just given the amount of cars that I have, again, completely, asinine first world problem, it definitely is going to sit. I mean, I'm not going to daily drive an SLR McLaren. So that's another thing. Will that kind of increase my likelihood, the chances of having gremlins and issues pop up with the SLR McLaren if I get it? And then of course the associated bloated, huge markups. You have to get a certified SLR technician to work on it. You can't just take it into any Mercedes dealership or service bay. So that's a concern. The second thing that kind of scares me off about the SLR McLaren is, as strange as it sounds, if I would really like it. Again, I love the dihedral doors. I love that it's kind of a rare-ish car. I love kind of the history behind the car, the collaboration between McLaren and Mercedes, the specialness of it, if you will. But again, from a look standpoint, like from one day I think I'll really love the look of it. The next day, if I'm looking at the nose or the long hood, I'm like, I don't know. It's certainly not in my humble opinion, a typical classical kind of how a beautiful car, I guess, in the classical, normal sense. Again, I think it's kind of over the top. It's definitely kind of attention grabbing. It's kind of like, hey, look at me. You're not going to see anything like me on the road, which I also appreciate. But kind of just the overall look and the vibe of the car is typically not what I go for in cars. I kind of call it, I guess, like my Aventador complex. I mean, I think these modern supercars that are coming out, you know, the Lamborghini, McLaren, or Pagani, or whatever case it may be that they're putting out, I mean, they're incredible from a technological standpoint, from an engineering standpoint. Don't get me wrong, I'm not hating, but a lot of them, especially Lamborghini, I don't know, it's just a little bit too over the top for me. Kind of the whole, like, let's just make it or design in such a way where it just grabs the most attention, and, you know, it's impossible for you to fly under the radar or go anywhere without people pulling up or honking or chasing you down for photos. I don't really like that aspect about a lot of the modern supercars, or obviously the hypercars. And my concern with the SLR McLaren is it is kind of that over-the-top vibe where you will kind of get a lot of that attention even if you don't like it. And the SLS AMG, I think, is a bit more understated, but of course, I mean, you have the gull wing doors. Any enthusiast is going to know what it is, and probably go nuts. I would go nuts seeing one of those myself. So yeah, I'm kind of torn thinking about it. Let me know what you guys think. Do you have one, an SLS AMG or SLR McLaren? Do you like it? Pros and cons. What do you think? Am I just totally off my rocker considering either one of those? I just don't have I had a Mercedes for a bit, but it certainly was not anywhere in the realm of the SLS AMG or the SLR McLaren. It was just a little, you know, it was a little convertible, and which was a lot of fun. But I kind of would like to have a Mercedes again in the garage before I die. So that's why I'm kind of considering going all out and getting, you know, the best Mercedes that I can find. But yeah, strongly considering it. But let me know what you guys think. Would love your thoughts and feedback on it. And yeah, just maybe I'm just bored and have nothing better to do. But I've been giving it strong consideration. So let me know what you guys think. Hope you guys liked the video. Give it a thumbs up, comment below, like and subscribe. Please support the channel. Hope to see you guys on the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.